Long, long ago, in the times of lords and ladies and castles and kings, monsters and dragons and magical rings, there was one who told to young and to old stories of all of these things. This is the story of the Tale Teller by Lisa Slate. The Tale Teller wandered from town to town, village to village, trading his stories for a dry place to sleep, a warm meal, or perhaps a new story that he could share as he went on his way. For stories should always be told. If they're not, they just crumble away into dust. The night this story takes place, the people in the town he was coming to were excited. The Tale Teller was coming. The laird of the manor even had opened his great hall, and there was going to be eat and drink for everyone, and people came from miles around to eat and to drink and to listen. One of the people there was a young peasant girl, and she was gathering food and putting it in her apron. She was going to be taking it home to her sister, who was very, very ill. She was worried about her sister. They were all each other had. Their parents had died a while back. The Tale Teller came in the door and a cheer rang out. "He's here! He's here! Tell us a story! Tell us a story!" And he said, "A moment." And he walked over to a table and he set his satchel down. He had a leather satchel, and he opened it up, and anybody that was nearby could see that it was full of polished stones. He says, "I have one I have prepared for you." He reached in and he took one of the stones. He closed his eyes and he placed it over his heart. He took a deep breath and began. There once was a farmer who had 3 sons. And he went on and he told this tale, and it was an adventuresome tale, and everybody was leaning forward because they didn't want to miss one syllable, one vision that he was creating. And when he had finished the story, he took his hand from his heart and he took the stone back into the satchel. "Tell us another one! Tell us another one!" "I think I have one you'll enjoy," he said. And he reached in and he took a small red pebble, and again he closed it in his fist and he put it over his heart, and he began. There was a fox that went walking through the woods until he came to an opening, a clearing, and he came across a bear. And he went on and he told the story, and it was rollicking, frolicking. People were laughing to the point where the walls were shaking. And when he had finished, he again put the stone back in the satchel. "Tell us another one. Please tell us another one." And there was a young couple right close, and he said, "Tell us a love story." He said, a love story. And he reached in and he took out a stone. It was a very large stone, and it was tear-shaped, and it shone silver. To his heart and prepared, and he began. There were once 3 sisters, and as he told this story, tears came to the eyes of the listeners as they listened to the test that these lovers had to go through, proving their love, and everyone was involved in the story. Well, everyone but one. There was a thief who had come to the celebration. He hadn't come for the stories, he'd come for the free food and drink. He didn't care one whit about the other until he saw that large silver stone, and then his interest grew considerably. And easily, smoothly, kind of like a snake, he made his way over to the table where that Satchel stood, and his eyes nearly left his head. He knew he'd have to have these appraised, but he was sure he could see opals and jade and lapis and maybe garnets or amethyst. He knew that these stones were very precious. Oh yeah. And all he had to do was wait his time, and he was so involved in looking at these stones that he didn't even realize that the storyteller had finished his story, and then he plopped that silver stone, that large silver stone, right on top, right in front of him, and he knew he wasn't going to move until he had his chance. And it came faster than he thought it was going to, because about that time, the tale-teller says, I must apologize. My throat is very dry. I need to take care of this thirst I have. And he walked away.